to Chris Paul's legacy here?
Well, Skip, there's still an opportunity. It's not like he's done. It's not like he's made a decision and said, this is my last season.
Yep.
But, Skip, this might be his last best opportunity to get to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Given what has transpired, you look at in the West, Kawhi goes down, LeBron's banged up, AD, Jamal Murray, the situation that's going on in Portland. So we don't know. There might be some turmoil and all this, but these teams are going to come back. The Nuggets will be better next year. Utah will improve.
Absolutely.
The Lakers will be better.
I agree.
I would like to think that Kawhi's going to get healthy. There's a probably 75, 80% chance he re-signs. This is probably your best chance to get to and possibly win the finals.
Yep.
Because the Nets, we don't know what, you keep hearing rumors that they would entertain trading Kyrie. But James Harden, healthy, and KD is plenty enough to get to an NBA Finals.
Agreed.
Miami is going to be better. We don't know.
Go right down the line.
Yes.
I agree with everything you're saying.
So, losing this series, when you're up 3-1,
yeah,
and they're playing without their best player, this would be Chris Paul's most painful loss. Yes, he had a 3-1 loss. He lost that with the Clippers.
Yep.
He lost to Houston. He has a couple of 3-2 losses. Lost to Golden State up 3-2, Skip.
Yep.
He lost when he was in New Orleans up 3-2 to San Antonio.
Yep.
This would be his most painful because all of those guys had their big guns. And you can say, well, you know what? The better team won. But you can't lose to this team without their big gun. You're back in the fold. After they won 2 games without you.
They did.
This would be catastrophic for him.
Okay.
He would definitely need to come back, win a title. Because, Skip, this is for him to try. Because I don't really think he's a top 5 point guard right now. I got him right on the outside. A championship would put him in there. But right now, he hasn't played well. He hasn't shot the ball well. The offense hadn't looked the same with Chris Paul at the helm as it did with Cameron Payne. That's just fact.
Yep.
I'm not saying Cam Payne is a better player than Chris Paul because he's not. But just go back and look at the numbers. Just go look at the score and how fluid they were pushing the tempo with Cameron Payne versus Chris Paul. Skip, this would be a devastating loss for Chris Paul.
I have said, I told you 2 weeks ago, I don't yet have Chris Paul in my top 15 all-time point guards because he hasn't closed a deal. I've jokingly called him over the years CP0 because he has 0 rings. Well, he obviously has enough regular season achievements, accolades, to be a top 5 all-time point guard, but he doesn't have it in the postseason.
Right.
Because I'm talking about an 11-time All-Star, 4-time assist champ, 6-time steals champ, 9 times all defense. These are obvious, shoe-in first ballot Hall of Fame numbers. He was the All-Star MVP in 2013. He was obviously going back to his rookie year. He's the Rookie of the Year, and he's been nicknamed the Point God.
Yes.
Okay. So I get all that, and I honor and respect all of the above.
Yes.
But I still say, in the biggest picture, he's a little more famous for the State Farm commercials than he is for his playoff legacy, because the State Farm commercials are all-time great. And God bless him, I think he's made a whole lot of money, so has Aaron Rodgers off his, but Chris's are better. And it's because he can also play his alter ego brother, Cliff Paul.
Right.
Well, too often we've seen some of Cliff Paul in some of these playoff blunder losses, these disasters, because I'm going to remind everybody what happened in 2015 with these same when he was the point god of the Clippers.
Right.
It was he and Blake and DeAndre and Doc, right? And young Doc's son at that point. And what happened? Remember, Chris Paul hit a great shot to beat my Spurs in a Game 7 at Staples, but he pulled his hamstring, and he came back in with the bad hamstring to hit the shot, and then he missed first couple of games of the next round against Houston. And then he came back for Game 3 and Game 4, and they won them, and then it started. And here they go. They're up 3-1.
Right.
And they lost Game 5 by 21 and Game 6 by 12. And at Houston, Game 7, they lost by 13. Well, that's an average margin of losing those games by 15 points.
But when that Game 6, Skip, they was up like 19.
They were.
And then they
just fell completely all apart. Chris's numbers were good in all 3 games. If you just take 3 games, he hit his usual average. He had 26, 5, and 10 assists. Okay.
You can live
Beautiful.
with that. Yeah.
Yes. He was also a minus 27 overall in those 3 games. So they're kind of empty calories because it's up to the point guard to get you home. You got to make the plays that close the deal.
Yes.
And you're better than the other team, I thought, and they couldn't close the deal. And he's had a long history of these going back to, I don't know if you remember, this is way back in 2008 when he was a Pelican in New Orleans. They were up 3-2 on my San Antonio Spurs, who were just better than them. It was like Chris Paul or bust. And they lost game 6 by 19 and lost game 7 at New Orleans by 9. And he was a minus 25 in those games. Right. So he just didn't, he couldn't pull it off when you had to pull it off.
I would concede that because if he had lost those final 2 games and they didn't have Duncan, he'd have lost it. I concede Golden State. Okay. If you win though, if you lose though, they don't have KD and Steph.
Yeah.
But Skip, they're playing without Kawhi.
Okay, I got it. So let's quickly go back to 2013 again with the Clippers. They go up 2-0 on Memphis, a very good Memphis team, but they proceed to lose 4 straight games to Memphis when I thought they were in control of that series. Right. They lost by 12, 21, 10, and 13. Well, those are all double-digit losses. That's no good. Right. And over those games, the 4, Chris was a minus 56. Again, the numbers look good, except his three-point shooting, as usual, tailed off. And by the way, he's 0 for 9 in his last 2 games in this series against the Clippers. Okay. And then got one more for you, 2016. They jump up 2-0 on Portland. And I think, okay, here you go. And they proceed to lose 4 straight games by 8, 14, 10. And then the last one was game 7 by 3. But he was a minus 7 over those games and shot 2 of 9 from 3 in those 4. He wasn't shooting threes very much, but he's shooting more threes and making fewer threes now. So he has a long history of just falling apart. And this is a huge opportunity. Tonight especially is a huge opportunity for him just to go into Staples. It's kind of his home away from home. It was his home arena for years, right? And he has a home in the San Fernando Valley near here in L.A., right?
Skip, in 3 games, he's 19 of 60.
Yep.
But here's what's amazing. Think about this. He only
By the way, that's 32%.
Skip, he only has 2 shots of 60 he's taken in the restricted area.
Yeah.
So now, Skip, he can't get to the rim. Chris Paul normally was able to get to the rim.
Yep.
He's not getting to the rim. His 3 ball's not falling.
He's 2 of 16 over the 3 games he's played from 3. That won't cut it.
So that puts an awful lot of stress on Book.
I agree.
This on you. Hey, everybody. If I had a chance to revote, I hear everybody talking about, man, if I had a chance to revote, Chris Paul should have been the MVP. He should have been the MVP. No, he shouldn't. Chris Paul had a great season, but he didn't have a great season. He didn't have a better season than Joe.
No.
So if Chris Paul would have got them to the 2nd spot without Booker, you got me. For considering Yo kept the 3rd spot and even increased it without Murray and his numbers, no. Okay, Chris, I need you to show me now why they say you should have been the MVP. You had a 3-1 lead. This is your opportunity to show. Now, either you're going to show people, well, I see why he didn't win the MVP, or he should have won the MVP. This on you, bro. You're the elder statesman. Everybody been talking about he's been so good for Devin Booker. And DeAndre ain't going to get that bag. Well, you better go bag this win. You better go bag the Clippers tonight.
That's true. That's harsh truth. Everybody loves Chris. I like Chris. He's been the head of the Players Union for years, and he's done nothing but great work for the league in general, for the players.
What he's done social, what he's done for historical black colleges. And don't think that goes unnoticed. But right now, none of that other stuff matters. Skip.
None of it matters. You should be winning these games. You came in as a pretty heavy favorite because there was no Kawhi.
Skip, they was up 2-0 without you. Everybody's like, oh, man, just think they won the first 2 games. I was one of the ones.
Yep.
Skip, we won the first 2 games without CP3. Imagine what's going to happen when we get him. We might sweep y'all. Now they fighting for their life.
I'm going to say it one more time. The biggest shock of all to me is that you have been campaigning for campaign to get more equal
Yes,
minutes.
he got to
with
get
Chris
some.
Paul.
He got to get some minutes. Now I get it. The first game back, Skip, he hurt his ankle, twisted his ankle, and that limited his minutes. But he's gonna push the pace. He's the guy. He's really the only one of the
Cameron Payne turned his ankle. Yes.
He's one of the few guys, Skip, that can consistently get to the rim. They can't. It's hard for them to stay in front of him.
Paul George couldn't.
No. And so you don't want to put Reggie Jackson. I mean, not Reggie Jackson. You don't want to put Pat Bev on him and then slide somebody else over the book. So Patrick Beverly is occupied with Booker. I'd rather keep him under control. Let Cameron Payne. We don't believe Cameron Payne, but Cameron Payne needs more run because he's the guy that's going to get the ball and push the pace.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.